still goes around in the circle, but in this you and I just got to put you around the circle, but for this it's having to do every 1 degree to 360 degrees of circle and changing the speed of the wind. They have to be able to drive forward, and they won't be able to slide sideways.
And also you need the
hide it. Once it's up, it's there. You can't hide it.
You wouldn't have to worry about rearranging your garden, would you?
You guys were laughing, speaking of Spanish, I reckon they just
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Titan the Robot will be appearing in the main auditorium on the first floor in 5 minutes' time. That's Titan the Robot in the main auditorium on the first floor at 11:30. That's in 5 minutes. Thank you.
For the next 24 hours. At the beginning of the day, you will find 1 or 2 showers dotted around here and there. And as the day goes on, I think you're going to find these showers will tend to become heavier and more frequent. The raindrops keep falling on my head.
Warning. The system has become unstable.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone.
The outlook for the next 24 hours, there will be a warm front coming in from the Atlantic. Consequently, expect sudden strong gusts of wind. This should pass, and we should see somewhat clearer weather and maybe a bit of sunshine making its way through the clouds. And that was today's weather. Thank you.
Withdraw jibber jabber crazy fool, or you're gonna meet my friend. Hey! Extreme close up!
Initiating docking sequence. Docking sequence initiated.
You can now follow what Titan is up to on Facebook and Twitter.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at 12:15, showing in the Modelworld 2-screen cinema, is the film Devil's Dyke Railway. That's the film Devil's Dyke Railway at 12:15 in the Modelworld 2-screen cinema. The cinema is located on the 2nd floor and accessible from the Russell Road end of the Brighton Centre. Thank you.
Right then,
to state the very obvious, that was Titan the robot.
And it's a very fancy shot with machine up all the edges.
Demonstrations we're delighted to have with us this weekend. A gentleman whose name is Mike Shepherd, who's travelled all the way up from the middle of Wales to Brighton to be with us. And Mike is probably the most famous model boater that deploys his skills making models that actually row. Instead of having propellers underneath them, they actually row along. And we're going to introduce you to two Red Indians in their canoe to start off with, and then some other rowing models. Very specialised form of building model boats. They will be on the water at 2:30. So lots to see around the show. Don't want you to miss anything, but a quick recap for you. Lifeboats at 12:30, James Bond Q boats at 1 o'clock, children's have-a-go boats at 1:30, submarines at 2 o'clock, and then Mike Shepherd with his absolutely stunning rowing models at 2:30. Titan back in this hall at 3 o'clock. Properly, because probably some of the most complex models that we put on the water during the show. For the obvious reason, as you will see in the demonstration, the submarines are able to do both what we call static diving and dynamic diving, and we will demonstrate that. The reason for testing them, of course, is we have to make sure the hulls on the submarines are completely watertight. So like all these public demonstrations, when you least expect it, it goes spectacularly wrong. My colleague poolside, he hates me saying this, but it is true, ladies and gentlemen, a walking encyclopedia on lifeboats he is. He's only shaking his head, but it is true. Kieran, good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon, Steve. Hello, youngsters, all right, and mums and dads. It's good to see you. In actual fact, you're fortunate. You've got one of the biggest displays we've ever put on at any of the shows we go to. You've got an awful lot in a small pond, so we'll give you a little bit of information about them. First of all, before I talk about the actual lifeboats, I'll talk about the scales. The very small one you see down there is about that little jack down there is about the 120, I think about 24th scale, something like that. And then you come right up to the largest boat in the middle, the 1721, and that's a 16th scale. That's because it's in real life 33 foot long, so that's an imperial measurement. Whereas you'll see that the boat in front of it is an older style boat. It's a Robert class, Alice Upjohn, and she was stationed down at Dungeness in Kent. Kent, Sussex, yes, Kent. And that is 37 foot long. So the first number is the actual size of the boat, and it's a 35th built boat. So 37, 35 is that. You've got another 12th scale coming on, so that's a 12th scale, another 12th class, that's an Arran class. So the Robert class and the Arran class have been phased out now of service. But this end as well, 1624 is a metric size, and that's a 60. It's got a telescopic area, so when she's launched out of the boathouse, she comes down the ramp, she hits the water, spray everywhere, and then you'll see that the telecommunications tower comes up on hydraulic ramps. And on the back of that Tamar class, just talking about, it's also got a white class boat that's stored in the back. And you'll also see one of those up the top here on the 7th class, which is Stuart's boat, and this one is built on the New Haven boat. That's David and Elizabeth Ackland from 1721, 17-metre boat and the 21st production boat, out of 46 of those made for the RNLI. And you can see there is twist in that ground. Very, very manoeuvrable. That's a 14-metre boat, and those of you that live along in Kent, there's one of those down at Ramsgate. All right? So have we covered? Yes, we've got the Arran class here, so we've got a Rother class. You will notice from what I've said, Tamar, Trent, Severn, Brede, they're all named after rivers in the UK, and the very latest one, if any of you are up on your lifeboats, is the new Shannon class. It's the first time the RNLI was named to class a boat after an Irish river.
Right, let's go on.
Apart from the older boat, the Rother class down here, all of the other boats now are self-righting boats. So they're all tested before they're handed over to the RNLI, although if you come up onto our stand, you will see that there's a new, from last August, all-weather lifeboat centre where they now, the RNLI build all their boats in-house down there. It's a superb facility. Do come over and look at these boats on our stand afterwards, ask questions. We like to talk about the boats, all right? Just hold up your hand if we're going over the top of your head or going on too much, all right, and we'll stop. But we can talk all day on them. Yeah, there's Chris. He'll be on in a minute with his James Bond boats. That's well worth staying for. I've done that a few times with the commentary, and it's quite spectacular. You'll also notice on that was the first class boat the RNLI had that's got what's called a shear line that dips down to the steps. Can you see where it goes from the front, the bow of the boat, dips down to the steps? You will notice that where the dip is along the side, there's what we call an A-frame. And that's the survivor rescue frame. So that lowers down to 45 degrees, and then they drop the old tackle over and sometimes put one of the crew down, and they will recover that person, hook it on and recover it to that position. And that shear line drops down, and as I say, that was the first class of boat that had it. You'll also notice how pronounced it is on the Tamar class like we've got down at Shore. Now I'm only going to show off now, I'll still get it wrong, but Alan has brought that down from West Midlands, and he likes his boats coming from Wales, so that's on the Clain Peninsula from Boston Clain. Is that
Bring him an email and say, he's already said, have you seen it? And I said, no, that's all right. Go back to him and say, I've just seen this. And so, Alan, what do you think of that? I'm trying to give Andy feedback. You like that? See, and that's what it looks like on the real boat. That's it there, see? Yeah. So.
The 2 long miles showing at 1:40 in the Modelworld Cinema. The cinema is located on the 2nd floor.
I will tell you the story behind those. Some time ago, 2 years ago in fact.
My sister was me in there. I was in charge of her. I said, no, so she was me in there. And then I had to worry about my life.
Expected poolside, it always takes just a few minutes to do a changeover from one form of display to another. So I'll just set the scene for you. We always try and have a few changes to the show every year, and most of us that are heavily involved in the world of modern boats all tend to know each other from one end of the country to the other. And a few years ago, the gentleman who's joining us here wowed the crowd with his rowing models, so we're delighted to welcome back to the show. It's probably been 4, 5, 6 years since he was last here. Mike Shepherd, who comes from the way across the west. I think it took him about 7 hours to get here from the middle of Wales, but we're delighted to have Mike with us this year. Mike specialises in building models that can row themselves, and that's what we're going to show you now. I'm grinning from ear to ear, ladies and gentlemen, because I've seen these two Indians in their canoe several times. In fact, Mike and I had the pleasure of doing the International Model Boat Show back last November. And Mike, I'm not going to preempt this, but Mike got standing ovation for what he did with some of his rowing models. This, as Mike knows, is probably one of my favourites because I think it's just absolutely charming. A delightful model. You can see the two Indians there. Have a close look at them as they come by. Mike's given them some names with a grin on his face. He calls them Davy Clockham and Hire Whopper. And if you look in the canoe, you can see they've got all sorts of things with them. Do have a look at the gun that's laid in the middle of the canoe. A beautiful piece of model. Delight the two figures, delight the decoration on the canoe. It truly is an absolutely wonderful piece of model making. What we're going to demonstrate to you, ladies and gentlemen, is a boat that Mike calls the Beast. It was America's first powered boat. Before the days of the invention of propellers and other things like that, paddle ships, because they didn't exist then because nobody needed them. An American gentleman whose name was John Fitch in 1786 designed and built this unbelievable vessel. Isn't that clever? And its party piece, not only can it paddle forwards, it can actually paddle in reverse as well. It was powered by an atmospheric engine, so without getting into too much technical stuff, that was kind of an early version of a steam engine. And it was the world's first steam-powered paddle vessel. And notice it's a paddle vessel because no propellers, and it didn't have a big paddle wheel going round like their big stern wheel paddle ships that were very prominent in America. Now this is not a kit, ladies and gentlemen, so you can't go down to your local hobby shop and buy one of these. When Mike heard about this vessel, and as he's the doyen of making complicated rowing machines, he was very fascinated by this. And Mike, aided and abetted by some colleagues, did a lot of research to see what they could find out about this vessel. Remember, we're talking 1786, so an awful lot of years ago. And slowly but surely, Mike started to get his head round how the mechanism on this could have worked. And Mike won't mind me saying it took a number of failed attempts, because to get the geometry correct was not easy. Now the Beast has been standing on Mike's display stand all day long, and he's had a lot of visits from people, a lot of technical conversations going on while people have been trying to get their head around how the mechanism in it works. And if you're also intrigued, when it comes off the water and it's back on its stand, if you want to come round and have a chat with Mike, he'll certainly be delighted to introduce you to the world of rowing models. But I'll give you a tip, boys and girls. If you're going to try and make a model of Rose, don't start with one like this. The air out of the buoyancy tanks, and you can see it slowly descending to the bottom. In fact, a bit of synchronised diving went on there, I think. There we are, boys and girls, both submarines on the bottom of the pool, and they could sit there until it's tea time, but it's not going to be. What if we can do this in reverse? Don't look so worried, Derek. On my command, please blow the ballast tanks. Bubbles coming up to the surface. And in a few seconds, boys and girls, they'll both rise up. Look at that, they both came off the bottom at the same time. Well done, captains.
This time when we go to the War and Peace show, bloody well girls just flags.
It's a GTR all the way.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a GTR.
That's lovely. That's it.
One on the water, but it's a 12 scale one, the same as the two breeds. And leave some of the others, they've got working radars going around, 6.5 revolutions per minute. There's a mum over there on stage. Although once again, the rocket class here did have just a fold down, a roll down. Yes, Derek on the big one, 52, 67 there. That's got a sound. We've got a tiny class coming on here. Tiny class boat. See the cuts getting named after the time.
public every first and third Sunday from May, and every Sunday June, July, August.
We're only up in Howsham.
The other guy, he's so
It's funny because I got an email to say that he was moving. And I did put on the Christmas card, please let us know when you're moving and sort of going.
The hole has been little forms, and then it does it rough, then he
Harry.
Oh yeah, rally car.
Used to walk across the bridge and used to go down the hatch. So it was sitting in the water and the tail was slightly backed. I can't remember what it was. It was only little.
No, so you might be
How does it work?
You don't scare me.
No practice.
Enjoy. It's on the house. What's going to happen is at the end of the Sunday, I'm just going to film for like.
Lost count now. I think 60 or 70 children now have a go, so that's been pretty fantastic, really. We're just creeping our way towards 2 o'clock.
Oh yes. I got a camera in that. I'm big for 10 feet.
90 feet actually.
Bring it back there, Max, land it. Or for these cup of tea.
You haven't painted. Well, mine have gone green and yours have stayed black. Right. They're there.
This is another weekly one.
Oh, yes.
And make the corrugated iron roof out of and there's another one.
No, this comes with this kit, isn't it? No. That's what goes together when they run these wheels. Look at the other one.
Well, you can see the lights in the room. You see the pictures where the see what you can make out of